What's up, everybody, and welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. Today we're going to address a couple questions that I get about what is it like to compete in a bodybuilding competition. Like, what goes into it, what do you have to do. Now, I've talked about some of the things that you have to make sure that you take care of in other videos, like your tanning and your gym and stuff like that, that it costs because, you know, it can be quite costly, but what is it actually like? Okay, so let's say you've never done one before and you decide, I want to do a bodybuilding competition. You now have to figure out where your starting point is. So it means you need to not jump too fast into a diet because you don't want to restrict your calories and stuff too fast because your body will essentially go into shock and it'll stop working. It'll adapt very quickly. And at the same time, you need to figure out how many weeks you're going to need to get in shape. Now, somebody qualified could tell you you need 10, 15. I like to take 12 weeks to really get a push, and I don't start the full push till 8 weeks out. But I like to start around 16 to 19 weeks starting to line up certain things and get my foods in check and start pushing my cardio a little bit and stuff like that, so that, you know, by the time 12 weeks comes, everything is full swing and ready to go for, you know, the full push. So once your diet's in check, you now have to make sure that you're not overtraining. So this happens a lot when you get ready for competition. You get in there and you're thinking about, oh, I got a competition, I gotta get better, I gotta train harder, I gotta train longer, and you wind up pushing yourself too far and overtraining, depleting yourself, flattening out, losing muscle, and it just becomes a giant pain in the ass as far as trying to stay full, trying to not lose muscle. You're doing it wrong. So it is, you have to have your diet in check, then you have to have your training in check, then you have to make sure you're doing enough cardio and, you know, not too much cardio, because then you'll flatten out and lose muscle too. So now you got these three variables that you're trying to bounce back and forth, and like I said, you should hire someone if you've never done it, because it can get pretty tricky, and if you put 16 weeks into something and you wind up doing very poorly and looking very bad, that feels like shit. I've done it myself. I've been backstage before where I pushed myself to the absolute limit, and I look at the other guys and I'm like, holy shit, I'm not even ready. You know what I mean? I did everything I could and I'm not even close to being ready. Why is this happening? Well, because I trained hard and not smart. And it's a shitty feeling knowing that you're going to get probably last place, and you still have to go on stage and stand there and hit your poses and smile and act like, you know, act like you're the best, like you're Arnold, to get your placing and not look like a tool bag because you decided to do this competition. So at that point, you got to make sure you get all your tanning, all that stuff, but you're going to be tired. Starting 12 weeks out, when you first start your diet, you're going to be tired. You're going to be irritable. You're going to be grumpy. You're going to be snappy towards the people around you. If you live with somebody, like a girlfriend or a boyfriend or something like that, there's a good possibility you'll take it out on them because they feel okay. They're eating normally. They maybe work out. They maybe don't work out, whatever, but they're living a normal life where you're trying to do your cardio and get everything set. And this is where a lot of the flexible dieting comes into play, because they say, or intermittent fasting stuff, because it allows you to have more, you know, social abilities and stuff like that. But if you really want to do well, and I mean really well, and you take this very seriously, it's like anything else. You get whatever you put into it. So if you're putting 80% in, you're going to get 80% out. So now, you know, you could be irritable towards, you know, family members, loved ones, etc. And that sucks all the way around because they don't need to put up with that, but they do it. They put it up with you because they love you and they care about you. And there's going to be days where you can't get out of bed. You know, you get up and you're like, oh man, you know, you slept 10 hours and the birds are chirping and it's a great day out, and at the same time, you feel like, I can't get out of bed. I'm too tired. This is awful. I'm just done. And you somehow get yourself out of bed, you get up, you brush your teeth, you pack your food, you get to the gym, you go to work, and if you're working a job while you're trying to compete, it's even harder because sometimes your brain doesn't function right. So now you're at the point where my brain is not functioning right, but I still have to do my job and, you know, do it competently, and I still have to pay attention to my girlfriend and make her feel like she's important, and at the same time get all this other shit done and feel like I'm going through hell and back and I'm dead, and I got another 10 weeks of this, 2.5 months. And then you get to that 4-week point out that we call the Boohoo Moment. The Boohoo Moment is the fucking breakdown. Now, I asked Jay Cutler if he ever has these breakdown moments, or if he ever has a question in his mind where he says, I don't know if I can get up and do this again in the morning. And he told me flat out no. He said he's never had a moment for any show where he thought he couldn't make it or he wouldn't win the show. Most mortals do have this, and it's about the 4-week out mark where you literally have a breakdown. You're like, I don't know if I can go any further. I don't know how much more I can do. I can't make it. And usually this lasts for anywhere from a couple hours to a day until you pull your head out of your ass, you dig down deep at that point, and then you finish strong to get to the competition. So at that point, you know, that last 2 weeks is kind of a blur. It goes by like that. It goes by so fast. The next thing you know, you're there, you're tanned up, you're on stage, you're ready to go, and in the blink of an eye, it's done. 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes on stage, it's done. And you're off stage, and the judging is done, and you're just waiting to go back to the night show. So there's kind of like a post-stage letdown that some people get, almost like a post-stage depression that they get. Other people get excited because they're like, good, I know where I am now, I can start preparing for my next one now. Like, I don't perceive anything as really being an off-season. You're building or you're cutting, but you're always doing something to get to your next competition. Usually the day after a show, I'm already getting mentally prepared for the next show the following year by eating certain foods, by getting my workout straight. I'll take maybe 2 days off from the gym. I'm right back in the gym to catch that rebound, which is very important after coming off a show, so that you do put yourself back in the anabolism. You can actually gain a lot of muscle right after the show like that if you rebound correctly. Dorian Yates used to do it to where he gained most of the muscle that he would gain all year then, and everything would slow down for the rest of the year, and that's how he made such big jumps, was using that rebound. So there's a lot of things that go into it, but I think the big thing that you walk away with is you did something that 95% of the population of the world couldn't do. There's about 5% of the population that are out there doing what you did. And you learn a lot about yourself. You learn about what you have, what you're made out of, what you got in the tank, how far you can push yourself, how tough you are. I guess I would compare it to like a military boot camp. Maybe it's not as extreme, but by the time you're done, when you see a Marine walk down the street in his dress blues, he has an awe about himself. He has a confidence. He has a feeling that he knows what he's worth and what he's made out of. And that's unbreakable. And that's what you get from competition. And that is part of the addictive thing about competing. It's not just the adrenaline rush and making your body better year after year. It's about also what you learn about yourself and how far can you take it the next competition. So it becomes a whole big mental thing, psychological thing, as well as the the physical aspect of building the perfect body that you always wanted. So I hope this answers any questions for you guys that were asking about what it feels like to do competition. It's fun, it's hard, it's sad, it's difficult, it makes you want to quit, but if you get there, amazing feeling when you get to the stage. My cut is going well. I'm 4.5 weeks into it. I'm down to, right now, down to 226 pounds. Staying very full, as you can see, throughout my upper chest, my traps and stuff. That may change as I diet down a little bit. But I'm at that point now where I'm starting to see the changes quickly. And I'm 14.5 weeks out. That's good, because by the time 8 weeks comes out, you're so motivated by the changes you're seeing in your body that it's easier to get up in the morning. So that's a big part of it too, the motivation of your body changing. It's like Christmas morning every morning. When you get up, you can't wait to get up and look at yourself in the mirror because your body has actually changed overnight from the previous day. It's amazing. BioS3Training@gmail.com. Leave your comments down below. www.bios3training.com is the blog, and we're